Hello, everybody. So, today I am doing another tier list. This time it is all about the maps of the realm. Now, I'm going to preface this again. This one is a personal tier list. This isn't based on which map is best for killers, which maps is best for survivors, nothing like that. This is just which maps do I personally like the best and why. So, going ahead and starting off this list, we have the Macmillan Estate maps. Coal Tower to me has always felt rather boring as a map. Other than the actual main tower itself, there doesn't feel like there's a lot to it. I would put this one in C. It's not much to it. It's okay for what it is, but it's not one of my favorites. I do like Groaning Storehouse just a little bit more. So I would put Groaning Storehouse in B. I feel like there's a little bit more to work with. It's a bit more exciting. But other than that, it's still not a favorite map of mine. But it's definitely not as bad as some of the others. Ironworks of Misery I'm going to also put in B, but in front of Groaning Storehouse for sure. So, I actually really like the indoor aspect of this map, but to me, that's really the only cool thing about it. The rest of it is rather mid. I don't think there's anything amazing about it. Nothing really stands out as being super out there, exciting, thrilling. When you go to this map, you're not kind of trying to look for things. You're just kind of there. You're trying to get your job done so you can get out. Suffocation Pit is probably my least favorite of the Macmillan maps. I don't care much for it. I almost always have kind of a bummer match there. It's just not interesting to me. I don't feel like there's really ever any reason to get hyped about that one. So for that reason, we're just going to put it in C, and it's just kind of there. Shelter Woods is... a lot of people dislike Shelter Woods. I think it's fair enough to put into B. I think after the rework, whenever they brought in Skull Merchant and they changed up the map a bit, they added that new kind of center area. I felt like it freshened it up a bit. It made it kind of fun. And I feel like it's enough. It's unique enough. The mannequins, the lighting. It's not an amazing map for either side, but it's just fresh enough that I can warrant putting it into B tier, if that makes sense. Moving on from there, we're going to start breaking into the Auto Haven maps. And then, starting off with these, we have... One second. Sorry, I was trying to remember the name of this one. This one is Azarovs Resting Place. Azarovs Resting Place isn't bad. It's fair. It's a decent map. It's not one of my favorites, but it's also not one that I'm ever going to complain about. I, for the most part, enjoy most of the maps in the game, so that one I would say is a fair map. Blood Lodge I'm going to put right behind Ironworks of Misery. I feel like that's another one that I really enjoy, but it's still not the greatest. It's not ever going to be one that I'm just super hyped about going to. And for that reason, that one's going to kind of be a B tier. Now, this one is going all the way into S tier. Gashaven is one of my favorite maps. It is true that I get sent there all the damn time, but I love the look of it. I love the feel of it. I like how everything kind of comes together. I like the actual gas station part of it. Some of the neater things in there going inside. Even the little effects of the bell ringing once you've entered the door. I don't know, it's one of my favorites. I kind of like the way the loops play out there. I think it's just a well-designed map, in my opinion. You can feel free to disagree. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna say you're wrong or anything, but I feel like it's a fair enough map. Wrecker's Yard is another one that I'm gonna go ahead and put in A. So I quite enjoy the Auto Haven maps. They're some of my favorites, and that one I really enjoy as well. I feel like it's another one you have a lot to play with, you have a lot to kind of run around and do, and I feel like that makes it pretty neat. I'm also going to go ahead and put Wretched Shop there as well. That's another one that I think was done pretty well, and I can't really complain too much about it. I think that it's well designed. I think there's a lot there to play with. And yeah. So, breaking into the Cold Winds. You either love these maps or you hate them. I love them. Fractured Cowshed is going straight into A tier. Fractured Cowshed is another one of those that it looks really nice. It's visually enticing. There's a lot to play with, there's a lot to look at, and I feel like there's a lot to do on this map. It is certainly one of the maps of all time, and I quite enjoy it a lot. Moving on from there, we're going to go straight into the Rancid Abattoir. This one I don't like as much as the other one, so I'm going to put this one into B. Reason being, I feel like it doesn't have quite as much, and it's not as visually appealing as Fractured Cowshed. I think that it is still a really interesting map, and I think that it's fun, but I would be remiss to put it all the way into S tier. Rotten Fields, however, immediately putting that one into S tier. This is one of my favorites. There's so much to work with. There's so many unique things. This is the one that has the that actually has like the compactor, harvester, and all that stuff to play. And I can't really talk about this map enough. I love actually being able to run through the corn. I love being able to hide. I like where Shack is always spawned. It's just overall one of my favorite maps. I love the environment. I like the atmosphere of it. I don't think you can really go wrong with this map. That being said, moving on. Thompson House is one that I have a love-hate relationship with. Now, feel free to ream me for this, but I do not like Thompson House. Now, I'm not quite sure what it is, but I feel like this map is incredibly empty. Like, yes, you actually have like the house aspect of it, but other than that, I feel like it's just very bare. There's not much there. Everything is focused on one side. The rest of it is essentially just pallet gems and the shack. There's nothing really else there. There's nothing cool to play with. There's nothing cool scenery-wise. It's there. Now, that being said, moving forward, we have the Rancid Abattoir. We have Torment Creek. Torment Creek is another one that I'm actually going to put into B tier. This is another one that's probably a bit controversial because I think it does have a rather cool middle point to it. I think the structure itself is really neat, but it's just another one that never really feels like... It never feels special whenever you go there. You know, like, you go there, you're just kind of like, yeah, I mean, I guess we're here, it's a map, let's do something with it, but it's not one that I'm ever super hyped about going to. But it's not one that I'm ever going to complain about. I still enjoy it. Moving on, though, we have the Disturbed Ward. I quite enjoy Disturbed Ward. I really like those maps where there's kind of like the second floor aspect, there's more to explore, and it's one of those that you really does have a rather nice feel to it. Like, if I go there, I usually know that the map is going to, or that the match is going to be pretty cool, or that it's probably going to be rather mid. But I feel like for the most part, I usually have a rather good time. And for that reason alone, I feel like that one is fair to go ahead and put in that current placement. Once again, feel free to disagree, but I think it's fair there. Father Campbell's Chapel is going to go into the front part of A tier. This is one that I know a lot of people don't like, but I really, really like. To me, it's another one that has a really cool main building. It has a lot to explore and run around in. It's one of those. Usually, this one has also has circus attached to it, which that's also one of my favorite things. I love the circus part of it. I feel like it's cool. I feel like it's unique. Once again, these aren't based on like how fun or how great these maps are to actually play. Because, I mean, you could make arguments there that I know a lot of people don't like actually playing this map, but I quite enjoy it. Lampkin, I'm putting into S. Now, once again, this is based off if I actually enjoy the map or if I think the map is cool. I think Lampkin is very cool. I like the multiple houses, I like the multiple basements. I think it's rather unique, I think it's rather fresh. Plus all the controversy that's always surrounded Lampkin, I feel like it makes it an interesting piece, just kind of in Dead by Daylight history and lore. Because, I mean, everyone knows how much shit Lampkin in particular has had. Treatment Theater is another one that I'm putting into S. I really enjoy this map, I think it's really cool, it gives me the actual vibes of trying to navigate a clinic. You know, you always feel like there's a lot of corridors, there's a lot of twists, there's a lot of turns. Even if you know the map like the back of your hand, it's still a real possibility you might get lost from time to time. And I think for that, it's fair enough to kind of have in that S tier position. Now, we are about to have our very first D tiers. I do not vibe with Swamp. I don't like the Swamp maps at all. And just for saying, I don't like their look, I don't like their feel. They feel incredibly boring to me. Like, yes, I see what they were going for, but I don't think that they did it right. I think they could have done them better, but I think that they just absolutely... No, I think that they kind of screwed up there. They wet the bed on these ones. I would love for them to be better than they are, but they just certainly are not. I don't even know what it is. I can't explain. The maps themselves aren't terrible for either side, but they're just... There's something so uninspired about them that I just can't get over. Moving forward, whenever we go into Mother's Dwelling, Mother's Dwelling is actually, I think, rather unique. I like the lodge. I think it's really cool. I think it plays out really nicely. And I would be willing to put it in A tier. I think it's one of those that it's unique enough. Whenever you go there, you can definitely be like, yes, this feels like the Huntress's map. Like, you could tell, like, this is her area. And I think that that makes it really unique, and that makes it really cool. Temple of Purgation is beautiful. It is a beautiful, beautiful map. I would put it in S tier. And once again, these are a lot of really high rankings, but I think these are all really cool maps. I think most of them look amazing. Going forward from that, though, what about it makes it so great? It's just how beautiful that one center area is. The basement part of it's cool. The actual temple itself is really unique. It's cool to see there. It's another one, too, that you see that and you can just go like, this is Plague's map. You know that that is hers. Now here's where a lot of the controversy will... Well, actually, I don't know if I would say controversial. I do not like the Badham maps. Some I like more than others, but for the most part, these maps are all just very, very mid. Feel free to roast me on those, but if I ever see a Springwood offering, I'm usually out. Also, that one was not supposed to go into B, it was supposed to go into C. Springwood is one of the most annoying map layouts for me, as both Survivor or Killer. I don't enjoy them. I think that there might be some things that people can say are unique about them. The basement is cool. I mean, it's nice. You can associate it with Freddy, but I have too much disdain for those maps to really ever get excited whenever I see them. I'm sorry to those who enjoy those, but they're just absolutely not for me. continuing my reign of controversy, the game is going to go in the front of A so far. I love this map. I don't care if it's very much killer-sided. It's just one of my favorites. Or actually, you know what? You could even say it's survivor-sided. It depends on who is playing that day. If I'm playing as killer, I'm going to argue that it's survivor-sided. If I'm playing as survivor, I'm going to argue it's killer-sided. But one thing for sure, though, I think it's a very cool map. I think it's incredibly unique. I think it's right out of Saw. And I love that. I love being in this map. The Yoka Estates are another one that I just really, really like the way they look. This one, starting off, I quite enjoy the first map. I think that Family Residence, I think it's very beautiful. I like the whole main room. I think that it lacks some, but I like some of the other things it has. I like the kind of gazebos. I like the main little like yards off to the side. I think it's just beautiful. It's another map that I just really enjoy. Out of those two, though, I probably don't enjoy the other map, Sanctum of Wrath, as much. Sanctum of Wrath is one that I think it has a really cool center part, but then it kind of falls into the same problem that I have with some of the others. There's nothing else beyond that. It's nothing really else there. Once again, really, really cool center part. It's done beautifully, but other than that, that's just kind of boring. Orand is iconic. Orand goes into A tier. Also because we're going to be getting a rework of Orand soon. And so I am going to be a bit upset to see what happens to this map, because I do like it. In terms of like bright maps, Orand is just kind of uniquely its own. The only one that comes close to it in this kind of way is going to be Area Crows, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. But Orand is snowy. It feels cold whenever you're playing there. The lodge is really unique. I think it's beautifully set up. I like the little bar inside. I like the upstairs area. I think it's just a well done map. And for that reason, I put it where I put it. Hawkins is another one that is also iconic. I will say, if I'm playing on this map, I don't really like playing on the map. I think it's cool. Like I said, I really like the layout of it. I like the design. I like the Stranger Things vibe. But it is not one that I enjoy for the sake of gameplay. I enjoy it because of how it is visually appealing. And I think a lot of people will probably agree with that sentiment. Dead Dog Saloon is another one of those that is one of my favorites. I love the look of it. It has the ghost town aspect, amazing. I love the saloon. I love all the buildings surrounding. This is one that was done really well. Going in there, you hear the piano playing, you see the main bar, you see the tables. You also have the gallows. I think those are really cool. You get that vibe of you're in an old-timey ghost town. You're in a saloon. You're there. This is unique. This is awesome. This is cool. This is S tier. Midwich is another one that I quite enjoy. Midwich will go into A tier. I would like to put it higher. I love Silent Hill. But in this case, Midwich, like I said, it's very unique. It has all the different classrooms. It has the main outside yard. But even with all these things, I still feel like there is just one thing missing. I'm not sure what it is. It might be because the map is so dark. It might be the repetition. But I still think it is more than deserving of A tier. I think that it sits beautifully there. Once again, this is not a gameplay. This is not by gameplay. This is not by how great the map is to play. This is how I think of them personally. Visual appeal, map appeal. What do I like about it? What do I love about them? And it's for these reasons alone. I'm also going to get a lot of hate here. Both of the RPDs are going into S tier. And I will immediately say, fight me. I know a lot of people do not like these maps. I love them. I love playing them as both survivor and killer, and I just love running around them. I love Resident Evil, and these maps are beautiful. Everything about them. The downstairs, the sides, the courtyards, the ceiling, the roof, all the different rooms, the offices. There is so much care put into these maps and how they did all the little details. I would be remiss to put them in anything other than S. Which brings us into the next one. What I would argue is the most beautiful map in the entire game. Area Crows. This is another one you either love or you hate. I love how artistic this map is. Like, whenever you look at this map, you think, wow, this is art. And then who do you associate that with? The artist, who is also my killer main. This map is gorgeous. The ink, the colors, the different canvases that lay around, the main building is beautiful. All the books, just everything about this map is gorgeous to me. The sand, oh man. It is a beautiful map. It is a love letter to the killer that it's associated with. Moving on from there, we have Garden of Joy, which I do not like. Garden of Joy is one that I probably will catch a little bit of flack for this. I hate this map. I cannot stand it. If I'm going here as a killer, I don't want to be there. If I'm going here as a survivor, I kind of don't want to be there. I don't enjoy it. I don't think it's a horrible map, per se, but I also remember it before the rework. This map has never been one that's been visually interesting to me. I don't enjoy it. Gameplay always feels very monotonous on it. It is not one of my favorites. Moving forward, we have the newer inspired movie theater map, and this one came with Sable. I do enjoy the look of this map, so much that I will put it into B tier. But once again, actually, you know what? Screw that. This one goes all the way into A tier. It is beautiful. I like the neons of it. I like the little arcade. I like the actual theater room. It's a beautiful map. The courtyard is nice too. It is one of those that I'm not attached enough to it yet that I'm going to put it all the way into S tier, but it does have potential to be there. I think that it is a visually appealing map. I think it's beautiful, and I don't have anything negative to really say about it. Gameplay-wise, it's another one of those that's kind of like hit or miss if you're playing there, but I don't have many complaints about it. One map that I do have complaints with and have personal beef with, even more than Garden of Joy, was Shattered Square. So, I do realize it has been reworked now. The red tinge has gone away. But whenever this map first came out, I do have a form of color blindness. And this map made it impossible to play on. I could not load onto this map without my eyes almost burning, was how bad it was. I would try different filters, specifically just for trying to play this map, but even then, I could not get past it. The tinge was that bad that I would load onto this map. If I was killer or survivor, I would have to DC sometimes. That or I was completely useless the whole entire time I was in match with this game. Because of that, I cannot get over it. Dealing with that for as long as I did, especially whenever night first dropped, that seems like that's the only place they ever wanted to send me. No, I am a bit traumatized, so that one is going into D tier, and that one is staying in D tier. Moving onwards from that, though, Toba Landing, A tier. Beautiful map. The scenery is unique. I love the colors of this map. I think the spaceship, the main area, I think that's been done very well. I don't have a lot to say negatively about this map. I think that it was done well. I think that does fit that kind of sci-fi, distant planet, kind of atmosphere to it. I like some of the things you'll see crawling around, the way the atmosphere kind of reacts to you. I think it was done well. And for that reason, I'm putting it in A tier. Now, this one is going into C tier. The Nostrous Landing. This one, I think, tried to do the same thing, but it failed at it. This map is dull. It's boring. It's uninspired. I don't feel like there's much to it. I don't think it's very unique. I don't think it's very cool. It's one of those that if I go there, I'm just, it's like whatever. I don't feel inspired to look around. I'm just going to do my gens and I'm going to get out. Or I'm just going to kill them and I'm going to get out. The only thing that's remotely unique is the thing where you can do, like, kind of the side quest of getting the key card. But it's just not great. This map isn't one that I go to or I think, wow, this is so visually appealing. I want to play this map over and over again. That ain't me. That ain't this map. Now, Forgotten Ruin. This one, I'm going to put it in A tier for now. I do think over time it may warm its way up more and make its way into S tier. But, and hear me out, while the teleportation aspect of this map is absolutely astounding and very cool, the main building below, I think that part is excellent. I feel like that part is done amazing. But once you get to the above, the map gets very boring. It gets very boring, it becomes uninspired, it loses the same appeal of the actual kind of dungeon aspect. It doesn't feel as cool, it doesn't feel as interesting, it feels really bare. You know, like, the only thing that's interesting whenever you get into this map is that downstairs area. And it's, like I said, it's fascinating. I love the interactions, I like the different rooms, I like finding the different rooms. You can get crisscrossed really easily in there, but once again, just the upstairs part is just kind of lacking to that point that I just can't quite put it into S tier yet. Over the course of time playing this, I probably will end up thinking that it's S tier. But for now, that's where it's going to rank. So once again, thank you guys for watching this video. You know, it means a lot to me. If you want to see more of this stuff, like and subscribe, comment below. Let me know how you would have ranked things. Let me know what your favorite ranking was. Let me know what your least favorite ranking was. What about this video did not work for you? And what about it excited you? That being said, this is Empty Giant, out.